Today we're going to be taking out a sheet cane and the binding around the sheet cane. What I usually do, I figured there was two ways to do this, and I'm going to show you both ways. First, what you want to do is take your utility knife and you go around the edge of the outside binding. Because what you want to do, if you don't do this, it will mess up the wood because trying to get it out, it'll break off the edges of the wood. So you want to cut between the binding and the wood so that does not happen. And just go around the edge of it. And when you get it all done, then I take my utility knife and I go in between the binding and the can itself too. And when you get all that done, then I'll show you how to actually take this out. Now, I've cut this out already, so I'm gonna take that out. Sometimes it'll come out easy. Depends on who worked on this chair before. Sometimes they put a lot of glue in it, and that's the problem getting these out. It's the glue. So let's try to see if we can get this out easy. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my tip right here, and I'm gonna go down into the binding, like so. Then I'm gonna take, you can use a putty knife or a chisel, whatever. Reason I use this, so when I go down with my tool here, I'm not messing up the wood. So you just lift up. That's come out pretty easy. Well, see, now I'm getting to a place that's getting to be stuck. And see, it's got a lot of glue in it. But now I'm going to show you another way of doing it. It's going to make it a lot easier. And I'm going to show you a second way to do this, getting this binding out. I found this to be really easy. It's a oscillating tool, and what this does, it's got a blade on it. It's really skinny, and it's got a lot of teeth on it. So the more the teeth, the better the cut's going to be in the wood. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to get down here. I'm going to get between the wood and the binding itself. Like so. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to go over, other than my corners, the corners are kind of tricky. I'm going to go all around my binding, between my binding and my wood, then my cane and my binding. I'm going to take all this out, and we'll see how it works. Okay, I went to the inside of the binding, then I went to the outside of the binding with this tool here. So we're going to see how easy it is to get this out. I'm going to take my tool, my putty knife. I'm going to go right here. See, it takes all this right here out. I'm not done the corners yet. The corners are a little tricky. Sometimes you can use that tool and sometimes you can't. And it doesn't take that long to take the corners out. You just have to work at it. So, then I can go over here and Go this way. See how easy it is. This chair's got a lot of glue. And that's why I use that tool to get it up with. What I'm doing is I'm just making little cuts around the edge of it, not trying to get the wood and stuff. Still keep that shape in the corners. You have to be careful. I'm just cutting the corners. See how easy it is to come out. So now we've gotten all my binding out with this one little tool here. And it probably took me 5 to 8 minutes. Very simple to do, you just have to be careful not to mess up your wood. So now I'm gonna show you how to take this out. So what you want is you need your knife, utility knife, and a scraper. And you're gonna also need a hammer. So I'm gonna take my knife and I'm gonna cut. Cut my cane. So what you want to do is do a crisscross. Start in the middle and work your way towards your body. Okay, got all that cut. I've crisscrossed my cane here with my utility knife. So you take your scraper, you take your hammer. What you want to do, put that underneath your cane, between your cane and the wood. And it'd be easy doing this because you don't want this putty knife to go past here because you're gonna mess up your wood. So I'm just gonna bump it just a little bit. In my corners. And I'm gonna do my back. Also, I'm gonna do this all the way around my chair because they don't beat on it too hard. You don't want to mess up your wood. So after using my tool and using my putty knife to take the cane out, now what we're gonna do is make sure it's clean. So I'm gonna take my tool here and utility knife. Sometimes you have to go around the edge. So I'm gonna take my tool. I'm just gonna go around and make sure everything's clean. Then I'm gonna turn it up. Shake it out. And we're ready to put the cane in. Okay, I've got my binding out. I've got my cane out. So I'm gonna measure my cane. What we want to do is measure about 1 inch over. So make sure we got it up. So I'm gonna say 14 by 14. So let's go ahead and cut that, and we'll get the binding for it too also. This is the cane. We get this in a row. You can get it 6 feet, you can get it 9 feet, whatever you need. How to cut this. So we said 14 by 14. So it's 14's here. I'm gonna go over to the next hole, make sure I've got enough. Because once you cut it, you can't break that back. So let's do, and I'll just follow my hole all the way down to here, and I'll take it, and I'll just use my scissors. And I usually cut it between the holes because at some point I'll have to take this piece right here, peel that off. I might have to peel it off back here. So it's easier if you do in the center of the hose to cut it down, because that's easier to come out. I'll show you later. This is the 14. Alright, so I'm gonna take that off. Then what I like to do, it's not measured by 14 yet. I'm gonna take this piece right here off. I'll just, maybe it's the third hole back. Do the center. Because you have all this stuff on the floor, you don't need all that. And I'm gonna measure from 14 back, which is right here. So I'm gonna go to this hole here, the next hole over. I'm gonna cut it in the center. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill my sink up. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I've got my sink, I got warm water in my sink. So some people said you can't do that. I said you can. You just fold your cane over, like so. You fold it over again, it's not gonna hurt it. And what you wanna do is just put this in the sink. Find you something heavy, because this has to be way down under the water. I just use a jug, my gallon jug. I hose it down. Keep that in your water for about 25 minutes. The 25 is enough for just get this soft. You just want it soft. If it's too hard, it's going to break when you put that in your chair. The binder I'm using today, it's going to be a number 9, a binder or a spline. It's going to be a number 9. It's going to be a 3.50 millimeters. So in a minute, I'm going to throw this in some water and let it soak for about 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes, because this has to go around this edge here. You have to soak this so it'll be able to bend after you put the cane in, being around the curves of it, and I'll show you how to do that. So it's been 25 minutes since we put the cane, the sheet cane into the water. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the cane out. We're going to swap out cane, and we're going to put this spline in there. And we're going to put the spline in it about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. So we're going to take the sheet cane, we're going to just kind of just get the water off of it. The next step, you're going to need some glue, a rubber mallet, a pair of scissors, a pencil, wedges, of course your sheet cane, and a cup of coffee. Alright, so I got my sheet cane on my chair. So I've got to make sure this sheet cane is straight. So what I like to do is find me, like where the wood's put together here, that's pretty straight. So I'm gonna line my cane up. I'm gonna do the top of this right here to that line there. I'm gonna come over, I'm gonna do the same on this side, okay? And I'm gonna kind of hold it down, and I'm gonna take one of my wedges, and I'm gonna drop it in right here in the center. Take my rubber mallet, just and something else with this sheet cane, make sure the shiny side up. You can see how it's shiny. Make sure that's up. The flat side's down. See the color difference? Be sure the shiny side up. I'll make sure this stays lined up, because putting this wedge in, it's gonna move it a little bit. So I'm gonna press down here, and I'm gonna put another wedge in the back. I'm gonna hold this down. I'm gonna put another wedge in the back. Like so. This will keep it from shifting, okay? Then I'm gonna take another one, and I'm still pretty much, I'm off a little bit right here, so I'm gonna have to fix this. And that's fine. I'm gonna shift it over a little bit. Let me do this in the back. Just kind of hold it. All right, are we lined? We'll put it close. So I'm gonna take another one in the center. I'm gonna put it on the side here. Now it should not shift. Now I can go, and what I wanna do is remove some of these pieces here, like so. I'm gonna remove this other one right here. Be careful here because it kind of goes out. You want to keep it straight with that. So I don't want to remove too much of that. I can remove another strip here. You can cut it with scissors. I think that's what we'll do. We'll just take my scissors. Be sure I'm gonna go right down this piece right here. Side of it. Your sheet cane shouldn't move. You got 3 wedges in them. Should hold it in place. Alright, so I've got this side done. So now I'm gonna take this side out. I can take 2 more out. Cause see my line's right here, my groove. So now I can take 2 more out because I'm not at this point yet. Sometimes these are easy to get out, and sometimes you have to just cut it. Alright, we got that out. Alright, the back, we'll do the same with the back. We'll take these 2 out of the back. Like so. And we're going to cut this front here because it's probably easier just to cut it. As long as I'm past my groove, I'm okay. So my next step, I'm gonna take another wedge and my rubber mallet, and I'm gonna find my groove, and I'm gonna start putting this in the groove, just tapping it down. Like so. You want to do this all the way around the chair. When you get this side done, you just pick a side with a wedge in it and just work around it until you get to the center. You can take that wedge out and finish putting it down in the groove. I'll show you how to do that. And on the sheet cane, like I said before, make sure you soak it for 25 to 30 minutes. Because if you don't do that, it will cut your sheet cane. And that's why you also use these wooden wedges. So I'm gonna start, this side's pretty much done. I'm gonna start on this side here. Putting down into the groove. Run my wedge. When you get this down, at this point, you can remove this wedge and just get rid of it. You don't need it no more. Like so. Now go ahead. So I ran along the groove of it, pushed it all down with my wedge here. Just make sure all don't miss nothing. So that's pretty close. You can see my lines here. That's almost right there on the money. So the next step, you're gonna need your rubber mallet. You're gonna need a good sharpened chisel. Most people like to put the binding in it and go back and cut it with a utility knife on the side. Don't do that, it doesn't look right. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you how to do this easy. You put your chisel at an angle. Don't put it this way. If you do put it this way, you're gonna chip your wood down inside. This is why it's very so important. All this stuff is down in the groove at the bottom. So I'm gonna take my chisel and I'm gonna just tap it twice. I'm gonna do that all the way around. Sometimes it doesn't come loose. You have to go back and beat it some more. My chisel is not sharp enough yet to resharpen it. So you just go around the edge like so, and just cut that away. You want to do this all the way around. Then we'll come back and we'll put the binding in. Okay, I trimmed all my cane back, my sheet cane back. Make sure there are no pieces like this piece down inside the groove here, because that's going to affect your gluing. So I've got all this cleaned out, done it with a chisel, and I can feel it kind of getting hard. So you don't want to wait too long, because what this cane is going to do when it dries, it's going to shrink. Okay, it's going to pull tight. So you need to go ahead and do this. So what you want to do is take your glue. You don't need a whole lot of glue, because on these splines here, it's a wedge. That wedge helps the cane stay inside that groove. But you do need to glue it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my glue and just go inside the groove, like so. So I'm not putting a whole lot on there. If it gets on the wood, it's no big deal. We're gonna come back, we're gonna clean that up. Remember, don't overdo the glue. Just put enough in there that's going to hold it down. Make sure you get glue in all the grooves around it. Alright, that's good. So I'm going to take my spline with the wedge facing down, the biggest part facing up. You're going to find a spot in between here, center, and that's what you want to start. So I'm thinking my center's gonna be right here. I'm just going to just mesh it down with my fingers, and I'm going to come around the edge. I'm going to do a little bit, and I'm going to take my rubber mallet. I'm going to just barely tap it. You don't want a hammer. You don't want to use it one of these. You need something kind of soft. That's going to mess up your spline. So I'm going to just come around like so. This one needs to soak, because you'll be able to bend it. Just come around. So now, even that tool we used, you see how nice and clean it is right here, just by using that tool to take the spline out. It's really good, and it saves a lot of time. I'm gonna keep going around. Now I'm gonna come to this point here. I'm gonna make sure everything's my groove. I'm gonna come right here, and I'm gonna take my pencil. I'm gonna mark right here, because that's when I need to cut it. I'm gonna make my place right there. I'm gonna take my scissors, and I'm gonna cut this spline like so. So you want a tight fit there. Keep going on. Make sure everything's down. So I'm gonna take just a regular paper towel. I'm gonna wet it a little bit, and I'm gonna go around the edges and get all the excess glue off of it. Like so. You don't want to leave that on there. On my dry side, I'm gonna go around, I'm gonna wipe all the water off of it. And right there, folks, it's a nice sheet cane. It's gonna get tight. It's kind of flexible right now, but as the day goes, it's gonna get really tight. And then that's how you do a sheet cane. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, give us a thumbs up.